Hello, freelancers. Welcome back to Fort Tarsis Radio. This is episode number 3. My name is Dorseus. I'm your co-host alongside our podcast mastermind, Adema360.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Adema360. Today our guest is Lazare. He is an amazing artist, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Like Adema said, I'm Lazare, digital artist from the country of Georgia. Avid fan of anything and everything BioWare. And I've been told I'm a bit of a nerd, according to many. Basically, I've had the good fortune of being noticed by the Anthem community last year, and that turned out to be the most welcoming and positive group of people that I've interacted with online. And we all know what the internet is, so that's very precious to me, and I'm very grateful to be here.
Right. Well, thank you for wanting to come on the show with us. That means a lot. And I think I want to thank Adema too for finding you, because you've done some amazing work for us too. So
yeah.
Problem. It was a pleasure to do the banner. It turned out great.
Yeah, it did. I hope you don't mind that I kind of made them a little bit more Marvel themed for your promo.
No, of course not. No, it's your show. You guys add the flair that you need to add. Mm-hmm. I'm all cool.
Cool. Well, before we jump directly into the giant pool that is everything Anthem, I was going to ask you one of the kind of those unfair questions that every artist gets asked. But as far as being a creative person that you are, where did you start, or what made you originally get into being an artist?
That is an unfair question, isn't it? No, it was not a career choice for me. I'll tell you that right now. It kind of crept up on my adult life, sort of as a hobby, and has more or less stayed that way, I'd say. I always liked to draw as a kid, but never really looked at it as something to pursue professionally or even education-wise. I can point a finger at the release of the iPad and call that one of the kind of major turning points for me. Yeah, because I found myself into thinking that I'd be getting a tablet for work, while in reality, I'd also be getting what's essentially a cheap digital art tool, cheap for that time.
Right.
And it really kicked that whatever artistic drive I had awake again. It was kind of a bit too late to turn that into a source of income, and I'm still not fully committed into making art for a living, and that's been kind of taking a bit of a toll, because I have an unrelated 40-hour job I have to juggle alongside it. But right. I really can't imagine living without that outlet. The art stuff, it's always been a way for me to kind of condense and express all the complicated feelings I'd get from a story that would resonate with me, to just put it all on a canvas. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Well, I totally agree with you as well. Not so much on the artist perspective, because I do like the best stick figures the world's ever seen, but as far as having that outlet, totally necessary. So I'm glad you have it, because you do amazing work. Even if it is juggling that with your regular full-time work.
I mean, thanks. I guess I'm managing so far. I mean, weekends are always for fan art and distressing through draining my iPad's battery, that sort of thing.
So what kind of recommendations would you have for people that are interested in following that same course as yourself?
I wouldn't say I'm exactly a good blueprint, because, like I said, I've had sort of a very strange foray into this whole thing. But what I found was that having the tools is the most important thing. I always wanted to draw, and I never had the circumstance wasn't there for me to pursue that. But out comes the iPad. Again, I'm not being paid by Apple. I can just say a digital tablet or whatever.
Right.
But when that thing came out, it was such a quick and easy way for me to do what I wanted to do. And if you look at the market for drawing tablets, especially back then. This was 2011, maybe 2012. It's basically really expensive hardware that had to be paired with an expensive rig, which was also a financial investment, plus expensive software, right?
Right.
So it's a bit of a gated industry, I'm aware. So that was sort of the main thing for me, having a accessible way of starting to experiment really on my own, not just theory, but also practice. And then the second thing is having people to basically look up to, because I being very good at imitating the greats, not the greats, but imitating as much as I can the people that I admire in the artistic
Right.
world. So just creating a community around you, or a group of people who are good at what they do and looking up to them and asking all the questions you have, even the embarrassing ones. That's a good way to start.
Perfect. I like that advice. That's completely sound. So if you're out there, find yourself some nice, maybe not like $3 sign figure tablet, maybe something maybe something a little bit more accessible than that. And then also just
Starts
yeah, like Les says, start small.
baby steps.
So what kind of themes do you notice in your work? Like what sort of inspirations do you typically draw from, say, like your Spider-Verse work or your Black Panther?
Uh, Themes, it's a difficult one. Well, if we're talking about like overall approach, I'm quite a bit into posters. That's basically the gist of what I like to do.
Right.
It's always different one way or another, but one of the first communities that I joined was this place called Poster Spy, where I found all these great artists who were doing alternative posters for movies and games and etc. And that kind of became a focal point for me. Like, if I have a story that really resonates with me, I will try and condense it into something singular, and that usually turns into a poster. So if you look at my body of work, I guess it's a little bit apparent because it's all kind of portraiture, framed very like minimalistically sometimes, but it's
Right.
always about trying to capture the whole and not like a small piece. It's a way I would say my theme is that's the way it is.
I like that. Like kind of like just capturing that feeling and then seeing if you can put that
Yeah,
into just like a poster, like because a poster does quite a bit, for whether it be movie or a game. It's like, do you get the feeling of what the main body of work is going to be out of that poster?
exactly. And just to add, it kind of as a tangent from that, creating art, it's kind of like a very highbrow answer, but also it's kind of true because when you consume something great and it really stays with you and it sticks with your soul or something like that, and you kind of feel you want to give back somehow, or kind of
Right.
be free of that gratefulness somehow. So it's a
Right.
good way for me to like put it out on a canvas and say that thanks for this great experience, and then it kind of frees itself from me. That's your artistic answer. That's
Okay.
your
I like it. I like it. That's a good answer.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite piece you've done?
oh gosh, there's no
That's
way I
always going to
can.
be.
That
It's
that's the
picking
second
and choosing your
mean question.
babies.
Yeah.
Choosing my babies, and also it's the matter of I see a lot of errors in the babies that people don't see. Because let's be honest, each baby is just another step towards the perfect baby, but
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
baby doesn't exist yet. So,
That brand new Spider-Verse piece you did was frankly amazing.
oh, this most recent
Like
one.
the the two piece like side by side.
Yeah, I think you had just recently combined that into being a single poster.
Yeah.
Drew it as a single thing, and then I realized that
Oh.
this could work as two separate things. And then I, of course, pretended that this
That
was
is the best
always
accident.
the plan. Yeah.
Well done. You had me fooled
Yeah.
because it was
Thank you.
brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. That's half the battle is to, present it adequately. So
So as uh as we kind of slowly move from the art conversation over to Anthem and how you feel about that, before we jump in, have you had other games that fall more, I think, on the artistic side as opposed to like the gameplay mechanic side, such as like Limbo or Fez, or even I think more recently like Gris, that catch
Mm,
your eyes as far as gameplay is concerned, or sorry, as a game as a whole.
yeah. So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Like artistic merit in relation to games. It's kind of a hard definition to nail down, I think. I mean, I believe games can be considered art by the right
Right.
audience. I thought Gris was amazing, for example. There's many different, I would say, lenses to look at that, entire conversation. Indie games do a great job
Hmm.
at presenting themselves as art, at nailing that audiovisual identity that's sometimes missing from AAA titles. And you can feel that can only happen from tight knit teams working with limited budgets.
Right.
So yeah, like take games like Abzu or Fez. I don't know, even Journey. They are all great
Oh
examples of
yes.
something that looks absolutely stunning. Both from an art design perspective and the technical execution of it. But I think that all of that flair can, by and large, count for nothing if it's not supporting like a great goal-oriented story or just an idea, right? Um,
Right.
Example of Journey again. That entire game was basically committed to being a metaphor on the passage of life, of companionship, etc., and everything was working to feed that message player
Right.
element, which I found astonishingly well done. So it had the fun factor sprinkled in there, and it absolutely obliterated you emotionally.
Right.
And so it had all the right parts doing all the right things. So that's what elevates a game for me and makes it into art. So I would say that that's one of the main things that inspires me, when video games are involved and when I decide to like create art for it, which I'm pretty sure wasn't the question, but I
No,
still made
no,
it about that.
that's
That,
good.
that
That's
pretty much
good.
nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
when you said Journey, like I had immediately after like thinking about this was like, what? Yeah, that's a good point. Because like initially, like when I always try to think of things that are, I guess, more or less, quote unquote, art
yeah.
that are just in the game, as opposed to no, the whole as a whole, it is art. So that was actually a very good way to bring that around.
Yeah. And
Plus, yeah, go ahead.
so, something that even stand out, like in my thought, is like even Monument Valley is like a beautiful piece of art, and that's just
God,
a
I
mobile
love
game.
Monument Valley. Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's one
it's a
of my
simple
favorite
puzzle
mobile
game.
games. But even that game, both of those games tell a little story. I believe the
Hmm.
second one was kind of about parenthood, if you really looked at it that way, because you had the mother triangle figure and the and the little triangle figure. So they're always centered around these little lessons they're trying to impart or some ideas, and that always makes it better as a whole.
Oh yeah.
Visuals and the music and the gameplay. Monument Valley had amazing gameplay, kind of based on around impossible puzzles, and it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even Limbo, like the you wouldn't feel that there's much of a story, but the entire point is just for him to save his sister,
Yeah.
and
Right.
Yeah.
like it's just like all of these titles just seem to deliver an amazing package from just like a little indie
Right.
studio.
And
I find it amazing that the indie studios are able to pull off such things. Yeah.
it's like that's why we love indies. At least I do. Like I'm a heavy like pusher. I'm like play this indie game, do it. Trust me.
Right there with you, right there with you.
I still need to play Celeste.
Yes.
I have not played Celeste, and I'm kicking myself for it. Yeah.
It's like one game at a time, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Well,
plus, finding time is sometimes difficult, but that's another upside of indies is that they're really short.
yes. Yes. Until I can invent that like 25th and 26th hour of the day.
Oh,
Please keep your indie game small.
please let me know when you do that because I'm gonna need early access on the 25th
Sweet.
hour.
I will let you know.
Thank you.
So as we move on a little closer now, we are uh, ever closer to the day for Anthem. Wanted to like you go quickly, just well not quickly, but around the horn for each of us. And Laz, we'll start with you though. On if we go back to E3 and you see the first ever footage the world sees for Anthem, uh, what were your initial feelings, and have they changed? Have they grown stronger? Have they? I mean, we know you like the game, so I would be very shocked if you said, "No, I don't like it anymore." So
I actually hate the game now that you mention it. I don't know why I've been making art for it. No, yeah, of course I love it. I love it, and I loved it from that initial presentation. I remember when I first watched it, like quite far removed from the RPG-ness or the
Mhm.
always online aspects of it. I was simply taken by the fantasy of what I was seeing. I mean,
Right.
first of all, a new IP from BioWare instantly means there's a new world to discover, a cool world, and this is one that looks incredibly beautiful and
Right.
gives us a really cool way of traversing it. That was a big thing for me. I love the flight stuff. I'm a sucker for it. And I love that the flight was, a cornerstone of the gameplay loop, at least how it seemed during that presentation. And the actual game has taken shape and kind of found an identity, especially this past few months, for us, for the consumers. Um, I'm still pretty much enamored with it. I mean, I'm not big on looter shooters or online gaming
Mhm.
in general, but BioWare is to this date the only company that got me to really engage in it with their Mass Effect multiplayer components. So I'm okay trusting them with whatever it is they're trying to do because it's apparent that some thought separating the storytelling from the online gameplay in an attempt to keep both of those things from interfering and damaging one another. At least that's how I'm seeing Anthem right now, and it'll be interesting to see if that experiment works. I mean, I champion and I will champion single player games until the day I die. But yeah, real human connection can sometimes, create really meaningful experiences.
Right.
I'm thinking about Journey again, and I'm saying
Right.
this very cautiously because we all know what the internet and online play can be at their worst.
Right.
But
Right.
ideally, it's something I'd like to believe. So I'm very much excited for it still.
Well, I mean, just think about this past year has been an amazing gift for single player titles. You have like Odyssey and Red Dead,
Mhm.
which has an online component too, but like
Right.
everyone
God of
started.
War.
Yeah, God of War. Yeah, another
Yeah.
Yeah,
wonderful example.
I would like to add Spider-Man to that list because
Yes. Yes.
that was my personal game of the year, I think, because I have not had that much fun with the game. Dear God.
That's on my list of things to play. I need to get on it.
Can't recommend it high enough. Yeah.
It's like, Adima, did you also have do you remember what your initial feelings were that day seeing the Anthem trailer or the footage?
Uh, yeah, I was pretty excited, especially like when they jumped into the mech suit and then they switched to outside of Fort Tarsis, and then they got up and started flying like Iron Man.
Right. Right.
Chills,
I was like,
chills.
this is epic. And then
Yeah.
I think in that demo it was the Ursix that they showed
Yes.
off, the giant ape-like thing that it was like, let's just not mess with that. And then they dove underwater.
Yes.
That was an amazing moment because
Yes.
and then it just seamlessly transitioned to that. I mean, since that moment, I knew that this game was going to be awesome. And
The
Right.
amazing thing is that all that stuff is still there.
yeah,
Like,
Yep.
you know how it is. They show off some incredible thing at E3 and everyone's eyeballs are popped, but then 2 or 3 years down the line the game comes out and it's a husk of whatever that was. And they keep showing gameplay now more than ever, and all of that stuff is still there. It looks
Yep.
just as great. It's
Oh,
just incredible that they're pulling this off.
right. And I gotta agree with Adema. I think like just like I'm a mech junkie, so like anytime there is gonna be like wait, I can climb in that and I can fly that around. Okay, you have my attention. But then like the mech's flying, it's like that whole Iron Man vibe. But then the moment it plunges into the water, I'm like, what? What? No, it looks beautiful under the water. It looks beautiful above the water. Like there's no part of this that doesn't look amazing. That I need to find out everything about it. And then of course they leave you with like that rift in the sky opening at the end, and it's like I need to know. I need
Yeah.
to know everything about this now. like
BioWare, man. I love them.
yeah, like how can you not love somebody that does that?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
so, is there any specific part of Anthem that you are most excited for?
Mm. I mean, it just looks fun. It looks to me like it has the right amount of depth in terms of power customization. I've been watching all the streams and YouTubers recapping all of that stuff. It looks proper to me because the pacing of that fun also looks good to me. I'm gonna say the two very bad words when it comes to Anthem. I'm gonna say Destiny and I'm gonna say Warframe. Because I tried both of them, just personally, because I'm not into those types of titles, but I kept
Mhm.
hearing that this is a carbon copy of those. Uh, they feel a bit too fast for me. I don't know if that makes sense. When I look at Anthem, it feels like a BioWare game on like online legs, but it's a BioWare game. It almost reminds me of Andromeda's combat system if it had, flight
Okay.
attached to it, so to speak. So that's perfectly acceptable as a hoop for me to jump through and be excited for because it's what I love and what I'm used to, but it's bigger and better. And it's not jerky and I don't know, very much chaotic, which was the other two games for me personally.
Right.
I'm not doing putting out a bad word on those games. I think they're amazing too.
Oh no, no. I think I can. I think I understand your feeling on that because it made me think about it for a second. And um, when I think about like Warframe and Destiny, like I've tried playing Warframe myself, and like literally that game is fast.
Very fast. It's very
Very.
fast.
I struggled to keep up in that one, and like I feel like I can hold down my average gamer like position in Destiny, and I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
can keep
Yeah.
up. Like I'm not trying to like run a sprint, but
Yeah. 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 Mm.
because I think it's funny too because I've also heard like people say, oh, it's just like Destiny. It's like, well, maybe if you mean that you shoot things and you get loot, but I don't think they're going to be exactly the same. And I agree. It's more like it has that BioWare framework and that style of it where it's not like Destiny, which is great.
Well,
It's yeah, it's not like Destiny enough. That's just how I look at it. Like it definitely has a place on the market. It doesn't feel like an unwelcome, sh- ham-fisted thing.
Right.
saturating an already overflowing row of the same games. It's an interesting experiment.
Right.
Yeah, and for a while now, ever since they've revealed like how massive their loot table is, I'm starting to get more of a Borderlands vibe from it than Destiny per se. Just because like even those weapons had like random perk rolls, and like the loot table was just frankly massive, and
Right.
that's how it is in this game. Like this is closer to like in line with say Diablo, like a dungeon crawler in terms of massive
Right.
loot tables.
I
And
would agree. Yeah.
yeah, I agree as well, because especially when you say like with Diablo, and it's like, well, when I think Diablo, I think, oh, just PVE. I'm okay with that. like I'm okay when they said, hey, PvP is not going to be a launch thing with Anthem. I'm like, great. Let me
Amazing.
just find things, and we're gonna go to town.
I am a very big disliker of competitive play in terms of PvP. I don't find it to bring out the worst in people. I don't know if you guys agree, but as opposed to cooperative play where you get
Right.
to team up against something that's a disembodied abstract enemy notion, that I find more fun, and sort of the camaraderie really happens there.
Right. I'm kind of with you on that one. I take my doses of competition, of healthy competition, but
Mhm.
I've also seen where that can go really bad, both for me and like my friends, and then have it received the other way too. I'd like to like I prefer my games to be more like D&D, where like it's a
Sure.
cooperative experience. The goal is for all of us to have fun. it, sure, we'll do it in our own like kind of different ways, but we're all together in that. We're not trying to really compete with one another.
Yeah, perfectly put. I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've definitely appreciated more cooperative games myself. Like the raiding experience in Destiny has always been more enjoyable than like Trials, even
Right.
like I mean they're both cooperative to a degree, but like it's just more more triggering that I guess you could
Right.
say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a reason why I've only gone like to the lighthouse once in my entire career of Destiny. It's like, no, I'll go raid. I can cooperate that way.
So, what platform do you think you'll be playing on, and what javelin do you think you'll main?
Me,
Yeah,
so I'm definitely going to be on my PS4. Will be on PSN as Legion of Potatoes altogether, just in case anyone wants to. I don't
That
know.
is the coolest name, by the way.
Really, I find it a bit unimaginative, but I'm kind of stuck with it.
But who doesn't like a legion of potatoes? I haven't met people who don't actually like potatoes.
Very good question. One that I ask myself constantly. I'll probably skip the VIP weekend though, some scheduling stuff, but I'll be online for the open demo in February. So I'll probably with the Ranger first and foremost, or
Can't
to the
stick.
Interceptor,
Yeah.
maybe. Like if I feel like I can handle the speed,
yeah,
because the melee focused builds that are possible on that one just look very cool, very sleek.
Hmm.
yeah. It definitely seems very speed intensive as well, because you're supposed to just run into the combat, the fray of things, and then immediately get out of there before you get stomped.
Right. Like, and it's
Uh,
funny after we. Sorry, Les, didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it was kind of funny after we just talked about how like Warframe is fast, and I'm like, oh wait, I want to main the Interceptor. Maybe this is a bad choice. Like I'm choosing the fastest one we can possibly get. Okay, here we go.
Gotta ease yourself into it, I guess. That's why I'm
Yeah.
going with the Ranger, and maybe I'll stay with the Ranger.
Yeah, personally, I think I'm gonna start off with the storm, but like I do like agility to a certain degree. So if that's not fast enough, then hey, I don't know, maybe ranger or interceptor.
Right.
Yeah.
Very much reminds me of a mage character from Dragon Age.
Hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
if this is even remotely in the same ballpark, but it's kind of that type of build where it's very elemental and it needs to stay kind of away from the battlefield, but has to hover or just stay static and just hurl destruction on it, like the
Mhm.
enemies. So it's an interesting, but yeah, I think I would like to move around a bit more.
Yeah. And well, that's the really awesome part that I noticed with the last live stream. It didn't cover anything for the storm per se that I noticed, but with the the ranger, you can drop like a bubble that will shield you and you can shoot through, kind of like Winston on Overwatch.
Right.
And like another option is a damage amping bubble where like anyone that stands inside of it has increased damage while they're firing. Um, it and then on the Colossus or the other featured video, the little short, I think they mentioned that the Colossus can kind of have a war cry that actually
Yeah.
pulls aggro, and
Yep.
those little RPG elements, like being in this game, just makes me so optimistic for the storm. Because what if it has like blue mage abilities where it can copy the whatever enemy's attacks and then use it back on them?
Yeah, nobody messes with blue mage.
But I mean, it's possible. I think in the last video they released the 6-minute video. They mentioned the interceptor being able to launch its clone
Yep.
on enemies out of nowhere
Yeah,
and
be
got
like a
glossed
decoy.
over,
Yeah.
like a decoy. Yeah, and it seems like they're really leaning into diversifying the pool of powers as much as they can, and that's really exciting because we're gonna see some interesting builds.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely.
Like it's gonna be a little mind blowing. I'm thankful like it won't be like everything in the demo because it'd be like, no, I'll just I'm cool with just the demo. Like, wait, no, hold on, give me the full game. Like, don't give it all.
Yeah. Well, it's not that far off, so
Right, thankfully.
yeah.
And this is a good question for the YouTube comments: is what javelin will people main and why? Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think for myself, like it's gonna be the interceptor. Just the idea of like something like a mech being melee combat oriented. And I don't know if that's just like the part of me that loves Gundam because it's like it's like, oh yeah, it's just if you had a beam sword, just go right in. Just the idea of like something being more than just shooting, like seems really interesting to me. Is like, oh yeah, you're basically Iron Man, but yeah, he has like wrist rockets and beams and pulse blasts. It's like, but if you gave me like like some ninja stars, like let's run in with that.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. That's honestly why I'm also attracted to that javelin more than the others because it seems like all about shooting with the other three.
Hmm.
It's doing shooting using lightnings and fireballs, but the interceptor is close and personal. Yeah, I love that.
And then just as a quick reminder for everybody, that the VIP demo, that's this coming Friday. That's going to be uh, January 25th through the 27th. Get in by pre-ordering. So the don't just boot up like your Xbox, your PS4, or your PC and be like, I'm gonna get in. Make sure you pre-order first.
Yeah, and
But
anyone
yeah,
on PC, if they have subscribed to Origin Access or Premiere, has access to that demo as well.
it's like, and then everybody gets a chance in February on the 1st through the 3rd. That's going to be the open demo. So if you see any of the three of us running around during the open demo, you can, if you find a wave emote in there, be sure to wave at us. Well,
Yeah.
maybe we'll help you out.
If you just see a very large amount of potatoes rolling around the map, That's me, baby.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
So I think we already covered what javelins you'll pick during the demo, which is the ranger and the interceptor. Um,
I keep being just very quickly. I keep being blamed that I don't give Colossus enough love. That's not true. Guy, I think he has potential. I think he's going to fulfill all of the fantasies of the Big Mac lovers. I'm just personally not there yet. So
well, and there's a few moments in Eric's gameplay that I thought were really awesome. Like there's a moment where the Colossus is doing the shield bash, but he's actually flying and charging into a group of enemies doing that, and I thought that was awesome. So he did
he's doing the
that
bash while he charges.
while he's flying. He's
So it's in
Flying.
midair.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then and then he crashes, and then he does the ground pound to knock everyone down again, and then he's just mowing them down with the machine gun. Like it's little moments like that, and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely gonna feed into some power fantasy. And I kind of want to test it out myself, but I don't like. I want to test out Storm and Interceptor more, so maybe the second demo.
Right. And
Yeah.
actually maybe make a good point. Like maybe try like all the mechs we're not sure about during the demo,
Mhm.
especially if you are adamant about what we're gonna play during the full release. It might change your mind.
Yeah.
That's a good approach.
We'll see if I stick with it. Take a spoonful of my own advice. uh, but with it being so close, Laz, are you? Do you think you're ready for the game? You ready for full release?
Nope. I mean, like I said, this is not the type of game I usually go for. But I trust BioWare. I trust my own excitement for it, and I will definitely try the demo. So I'll know where I'm at with the February demo, and then we'll see.
Sweet. Well, we'll definitely follow up with you, I think, after that open demo to see how you feel.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
How much do you think you'll find yourself just playing free play, exploring the world, and finding new vistas that you want to draw?
Probably 100% of the time, that's exactly what I will be doing. So just a disclaimer, if anyone squads up and I just fly off and don't even look back at you, no, it's 2 days is all I have. So
Right. I was
Like
gonna say
everyone
it's
else
day
is
30.
in your free play team is busy fighting the Ash Titan, and you're just off looking at a beautiful waterfall.
no, I will be circling the Ash Tide and getting nice references for my
Ah,
Right.
screenshots folder, but I will, throw out a few bullets. I will be useful, maybe.
It's like there we go. Well, he's gonna have like if there's like a counter for maybe screenshots taken. I think Laz is gonna take us all in that category.
quite. That's quite likely. I'll take that.
Like some,
I'll
it's
I'll
just
take
recon.
that.
Just recon.
well, actually, speaking about that, like I had an old clanmate that was he was a professional wedding photographer, and he actually went through the entire Uncharted campaign, like Uncharted 4, and he did utilize the photo mode, and he did like a whole kind of storytelling uh,
Holy cow!
album of the entire thing. It actually got featured in a couple gaming articles.
Oh, seriously, that's amazing.
Wow.
I'm kind of a photo mode nut
Mhm.
myself. I have like 4 to 5 gigabyte folders per each game
Wow.
that
Whoa.
comes with a photo mode.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a skeleton in my closet. So I don't do like pretty storyline narratives, but anything I find pretty or might reference later, colors, shapes, I just snap.
That's like half of what it's there for. So like I'm glad for those like photo modes. You get some awesome stuff that way.
Yeah.
I really hope they stick one in Anthem somehow. I know it's hard for an online game to support that type of thing, but I'm really holding out hope.
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, they might do something similar to what Fortnite did with their review functionality. So, like, maybe you
Right.
run through a stronghold mission, and then that
Mm.
will be stored in your reviews temporarily, and then eventually
The
just phased
entire
out.
gameplay of it?
Yeah, yeah, of that one mission that you just did.
Right. So that instance is recorded.
Yeah,
Right, right.
and then you can with Fortnite, what you're able to do is you're able to review it, and you're actually able to move the camera from your character and view other perspectives. So, like, you walk into a room, and then a trap on the floor above you kills you for some reason. You're able to report that as a bug. I mean, that's why they implemented that. But
Oh, I see. Yeah, I
Oh, but
see.
little did they know.
you can actually like screenshot and use it for photo mode kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. It sounds like something like that could work in Anthem, but I just it'll be more relevant during free play, like
Mhm.
you said, during all those beautiful vistas people will discover. I mean, I'm sure the PC players will come up with something in a matter of weeks. It's
Right.
just UI that needs to go away, and that's it, basically, for the most basic types of shots. But yeah, holding out hope.
Well, Laz, I want to thank you for joining us today. This is a super great conversation. But before we completely part ways, though, where can our listeners and watchers find you?
I am at Lazare Digital Art on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and that's where I usually hang out most. That would be Twitter, like the first one. And I really want to thank you guys for having me as well. This was a blast, honestly.
Oh yeah,
I'm very, very, very flattered with the love that I've been getting from the Anthem community, and this is no exception.
it's a great community, and we're glad that you're actually a huge part of it too. So
Yeah,
thank you for joining us.
appreciate you being
I
here.
try. Thank you, guys.
So if you want to follow Fort Tarsis Radio, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook as well. We're working on setting up our website in the next week. And then we are FT Radio on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us there, and you'll get all of your Fort Tarsis Radio needs, and get to just come have fun conversations with us. So don't hesitate to like comment if you think I'm wrong about being a backflipping interceptor pilot, or you think all of us should run as Colossus. Tell us. We'd like to talk with you guys. It's what it's all about.
If you're Team Thick Boy #1.
Yeah. Yeah, especially then. Thanks
And
again.
check out their very cool banner too. I wouldn't know where it came from, but
Yeah.
I've heard it's really cool.
It's like, do it. It's awesome.
Great.
Guys, thank you again. Once again, my name is Dorseus, one of your co-hosts here on Fort Tarsis Radio. You guys can usually find me on Twitter at Dorseus for my handle, and also streaming over at Mixer at mixer.com/Dorseus. And then also alongside Adema, I believe, right?
Yeah. I'm Adema360. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Mixer as well. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
And thanks,
And
everybody.
yeah, have a great day.
Hey guys.